A recent report showed that the bad meetings cost almost $130 million per day. Now, this was a recent report from Yahoo Finance, but the thing is, we don't need a real report on this. We all have experienced one of the biggest challenge with the business is, especially if you're running a project, is how to make your meetings very productive, right? And here's the common thing that typically happens in business meetings is that you have a meetings, you capture some of the action items you assign to people, but then the next week when you come back, what typically happens is that a lot of action items are not completed. People come with various reasons, and again you go ahead and continue to spend a lot of time on that. So if you are someone who's a consultant, or if you're heading a project of multiple this thing, and you want to really figure out how can I improve my meeting effectiveness, and especially using the AI, but also a psychology, then this video is for you, because in the end of this video you will exactly understand how to make your meetings highly effective. Here's the first question, right? How do I increase meeting productivity? In two ways. One is the psychology. How do I use the simple psychology? But then how do I use the AI, which is much more also very important. Now, what is exactly happens? Let's understand why these meetings are there. We all have seen that when most meetings fail is that you leave the meeting with action items, but next week half of meetings are still complete. That means you conduct the meetings, you assign action items, 1 week later, most of them are delayed, forgotten, and excuses. So what does it mean? Typically, the most of meetings create decisions, but really the execution of whatever the action item, you got to have a system. And most businesses I have seen is they don't have a system to track meetings. They have a big projects. There are companies that are running meetings, but there is no system to track individual meeting action items or anything. Now, this is where we need to figure out how do you fix this, right? Now, for this, first is to understand the real problem is not meeting. See, there are genuine issues, obviously, when you find some action items. Obviously, there are some dependency comes, some lack of information, changing priority happens. So, some of the members may not be able to complete everything, right? Now, this is where but there are also what I would say is common behavioral issues exist. This is a human behavior, nothing to do with specific team or a culture or a business, but this is a human behavior that a lot of people forget. There is a lack of ownership is assigned, no accountability happens, and a lot of other work becomes urgent, and this because everybody is having multiple meetings and everyone have many action items, so many times sometimes misses out. So that's why I say meetings end and accountability disappears. In the meeting everybody is active, everybody is aware, but as the meeting ends, the world gets over, people get into their own lives, and that's where the whole what I would say the accountability disappears. But now, how do you fix this? Now, this is where the thing, there are two ways to fix, and one is very important. I want to tell you a simple psychology fix. This comes from the influence of persuasion, and very simple. One of the things we have used is end of meeting. What is that one question as a leader of a meeting you have to ask is very simple. After you identify the action items, ask this one question: do you commit to completing this action item? Just ask everybody. Just tell me yes or no. Do you commit to completing this action item? And then pause. Do not basically say, wait for every person to answer. Now, here is what is going to happen. Now, some people will say yes, that is great. The chance that when they say yes in a public, that's a very high commitment. It comes from the principle of consistency and commitment, which shows that when people commit in front of others, the chance that the likelihood that they follow through is very high, even if they face some problems. Now, there's another possibility, which is no, right? Some people might say no, which is again very good, because you get to know now itself what is the challenge, you can discuss and you can close that. So that's what the no is basically. But the whole idea is to use this simple, powerful principle of commitment and consistency to use. People naturally act consistently with what they publicly commit. So again, there are exceptions. There are people come with even after committing in the public. Sometimes they give up, but the likelihood of they committing and completing significantly increases. It's never 100%, but it is more than if you are having like 30%. With this one simple technique, you can increase it to maybe 50%, which is very good, right? Just with one question, you can actually increase it to 20%, which is not 20%. From 30% to 20, 50% means almost like you are going more than 50%. So that's a very powerful this one, but that's not the only thing. That's a very valid fix to do, but there is something more. You may be already doing this, but there is something more you can do right now with the AI, which very few businesses are doing it. How do you use AI agentic workflows? Now, here is what the say psychology is not enough because people still forget, people have a lot of other issues. And this is where a Monday meeting happens, and the Friday is where the people get busy, other priorities, they forget, last minute follow up, all this happens so that the next Monday, most of things are gone. But this is where human needs reminders, but AI never forgets. So you can have certain AI which can actually hold people accountable, not in a way where a very tough coordinator, but someone who basically uses the behavioral science principles to nudge them, to make them aware, to make them remind them all these things. Now, how do you do this? This is where that happens. Let AI do the follow-up. So when the meeting ends, basically AI is part of the meeting, so it records all the meeting notes, it extracts the action item, which many people are already doing with the Copilot and other things. If you're using, you're already doing. Now that's where you are even assigning the owners. These are all things are being done. But then immediately what is important is to create a certain kind of a dashboard, a tracker for specific meeting. And then once you create this dashboard for specific meetings, now then the AI owns this thing. AI is going to update these things. This is not done by any manual human. AI will be doing these things. So, but AI is also sending the automatic reminders to track this progress. So here is what it looks. Every action item is visible, client proposal, design review, who is the owner, who is the due, and then the status, and the email, WhatsApp, and even calendar reminders, all these different connects you can do it. So that this becomes very easy for anybody to follow it. And people can update over WhatsApp, people can update over email, and people get reminders, people can change the status. All these things can be easily configured, right? Here is something we did recently for one of a project we are doing it where here they are managing 50 plus projects, basically across multiple clients, hundreds of action items. Manual follow-up is happening, lots of weekly firefighting happens because so many different focus meeting groups are happening. But now with this AI, tracks everything, automatic reminders are sent, live dashboard happens, meeting focus on decision and executions. So the result is what is happening is a lot of productive meetings, better execution. So let me show you how this looks also, right? This is where it shows action tracker. So as you see, there are a lot of action tracker and overrun how it is. This is something which can be done within few days. These kind of dashboards can be created with AI. All these projects, different projects are tracked and different owners, who is that. And this has the memory. This has the memory of all your different meetings, how the meetings are improving. All those things this can track. And these are all connected. As I said, AI agent is managing this dashboard. It is not your somebody human. AI agent is sending through the messages through the WhatsApp or emails. All those things it can do it now. So that's the beauty of this. Again, this is just one of a workflow a company can immediately implement and start seeing the productivity of your business. Now, there are a lot of other workflows also we can create for businesses. It can be a project tracking, sales pipeline, client approvals, team coordination, reporting. So all these workflows, they take a couple of days to build, sometimes maximum a week, depending on the complexity. So we have a specific tools to build these things, so that you can actually build any of your workflow, and start managing your business much more effectively and make your business AI ready, right? The competition, the moment they use these things, obviously their productivity is going to go very high. So you don't want to left behind. So if you really want any of these workflow or even this meeting follow-up workflow, if you want in a business, just schedule a call for a workflow discovery session. So we will see what workflows we can build, what are the opportunities available in your business, and then basically help you come up with the first workflow which you can implement in your business and start